It is 5:30. I call this meeting to order, this special workshop or board workshop. We have Mr. Kennedy present, correct, Mr. Kennedy?
That's correct.
And we have Coach Guerra present.
That's correct.
And of course, myself, Mr. Nieto. If other board members join, they'll join in a few minutes. Any public comments? No public comments. Item 3, 2020-21 budget, Dr. Canales.
Good evening, Board of Trustees. We have been working diligently on next year's proposed budget. Mr. Sanchez and his team have been working around the clock, along with getting together with our assistant superintendents and Mrs. Segura on this. So he will present on our proposed budget figures for this upcoming school year. Mr. Sanchez. Mr. Sanchez, you're on mute.
Sanchez, you're muted.
Okay.
Dr. Rivera just joined the workshop also, Dr. Canales.
Greetings, Dr. Rivera.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So then let me start. This is our third budget workshop. We had information on the budget at the June 8th meeting, but this is the third workshop as an independent meeting. On the slide 2, I don't want to really cover a lot of items on it, other than last year ADA, we had budgeted 15,751. The actual number we have is 15,891. Of that, 15,093 was from regular ADA, and 798 was from the flexible school attendance. And TA will confirm the final number that we have. For next year, 2021, we had budgeted 15,199. Any questions?
What's our current enrollment for this year looking? I know that's not the same as ADA, but just so I have a general idea. Do we know?
And this morning we were at 15,600. After checking for duplicates, I don't know the latest update. I haven't checked. Carlos?
Andres, you might want to click present on your slideshow so everybody can see it clearly.
You don't see it?
I see it, but I see the rest of your screen. You need to click present. Slideshow present.
All I have is
Slideshow tab and then present.
I don't have that part.
Yes, you do. I'm looking at it.
I don't see it. Tell me where to find the left top bottom. I don't see anything.
On the very,
Yeah,
Mr. Sanchez, on the very top, if you look at the tabs, it's probably approaching the middle of the tabs. You see the tabs where it starts with file.
You present it to everyone. It says here.
No.
It's okay. Can everybody see it?
What is it that you're missing?
I think can everybody see what he has?
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on.
Okay.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. That.
Yes.
There you go.
Okay, that's another story. I was looking for in the presentation part. Okay, any questions here? That was a good question, though, Mike.
No.
No.
Okay.
Going to slide 3 then. I had mentioned that the budget is based on the latest certified property values received from the county. The data is of July 17, and the latest values are $2,615,319,000, and the prior year was only $2,415,000,000. That is an increase of $200 million, which is about 8.3% increase in property values.
And did it change from the previous slide from last time?
No, sir. It's the same one.
Same slide. Same slide.
Yeah, that's what. Yes, I'm just highlighting that part. I'm not going to mention any of the other items. Just that we gave the schools 90%, and then we increased it to 92%, but everything else the same. The budget is, compared to last year, is lower because due to the coronavirus pandemic, we had to take several items that we consider adjustments, including our ADA, which is lower than last time. And the property tax revenues, I had mentioned before that we hadn't budgeted at 85%. We raised them to 91%. Our actual collections are at 95%. So we're 4% short from what we usually collect. We're going to keep an eye on it to make sure that we're close to it. If not, so that we can watch our budget towards the middle of the year. Delinquent property tax collections are budgeted at 10%, which is lower than last year. Athletic event revenues is budgeted at 15%. And interest income is about 25% of last year.
I had a question about athletics. So
Yes, sir.
this year, we're not quite sure what's going to happen with our attendance at the football games. Is that going to affect the sponsorships of the football stadium at all?
It probably will. We haven't talked to the people that, at least the contract that we have a 2 10-year contracts that we deal with, and then the sponsorship from the other people. Mr. Oblada might be able to provide more insight on that. I don't know if he's got comments from them.
Yes, we do have a plan in place. If everything's going to be streamed online, then we will be able to provide advertising through streaming capabilities. The only issue is that we're not going to have as many games this year, so there might be some losses in revenue to that, because we're not going to have the 7. We're only going to have a certain amount of games. I don't know if we're going to have a full 10 games like we usually have.
Okay, but at least we're not going to have a complete loss on the revenue then.
Correct. But we are making adjustments.
Okay, thank you very much for that update.
Yes, sir.
Carlos, this is Coach Cuellar asking. Even if the game is not being played, is there any harm in advertising? The people are going to drive by anyways, and if the advertisement's there, it's paying for itself, I would think, unless I'm wrong.
Yeah, there's different things that we're looking at as far as advertising in different ways as well, but maybe on the scoreboard itself, because it's so big and there's a lot of traffic in that area, that we might be able to come up with some different types of advertising sponsorships in that particular way using the scoreboard.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, I'll move to the next page. The budget is based on tax rate for M&O purposes of 0.9989. We had to adjust it down because of the increase in property values. It is almost 5 pennies less than last year. The INS tax rate is being recommended at 2 pennies, no increase in the INS tax rate. The table that we have in the middle of the page shows the rate that we had for 18-19. The total was 1.159, almost 116. The current year, 19-20, is at 106.8. And for next year, we're recommending $1 and almost 2 pennies. Almost $1 for M&O and 2 pennies for INS. And again, is the lower M&O rate is because of the increase in property values. Any questions or comments?
Dr. Rivera, any questions or comments on this one?
There's no change from last time.
Okay.
So there's no tax increase here.
No, it's intended to be less, but it was going to go down by a penny only when the last legislature met for when the House Bill 3 passed. I believe it was Senate Bill 2 that had to do with taxpayer relief. One of the things they said is that districts on the second year, which is the 2021 year, could not increase or assess a tax rate that would be based on more than 2.5% of the property value increases. And our rate was 8.3. So it's a high rate, so our tax rate went down.
Okay, I was trying to figure out the spreadsheet, but it's going down by what, like 0.05?
5 pennies, basically. Okay. The total amount, yeah.
So, Andres, you said that the property rates went up, correct? Increased?
The property values went up, yes, sir. But
Okay.
200 million. So because of
Okay.
that, TA lowered our rate to go. That was already in the law, that it was going to be limited to a 2.5% increase. So TA did some calculations, and after we did a survey, they gave us a rate certified. So that is the 0.9989 is already reflecting that.
Okay. Continue. Go ahead,
Yes.
Andres.
For health insurance, I had mentioned last time, We are not recommending an increase on the district contribution to the medical plan, and we are not increasing the rates from employees either for the personal contributions or increasing the coverage or the family coverage. It will be the same rates at 19.
Okay.
The current proposed budget is balanced. Like I mentioned last time, we had to make some adjustments to balance it because previously I had indicated to the board that we had a deficit in the calculations we were doing. We had 28 vacancies included in the budget that were filled in from within. That was almost $1.8 million. And substitute teacher salaries, we made a cut in the budget of $178,000. And the increase of property value collections, property tax collections from 85% to 91%, helped also to gap the deficit we have. So the budget right now is balanced with those changes that we made. We haven't done any other budget cuts on anything else. I had mentioned travel before. There were no cuts made to travel.
That's something that I think somebody mentioned on travel. I don't know if it was Dr. Rivera or Mr. Lopez about since most administrators or most personnel not traveling anymore because of the COVID, correct?
Yes.
That's something we're going to have to look at, Dr. Canales, correct?
Yes, to keep that in mind, that if there was, my recollection, if there was a reduced need for travel, to look at the travel expenses and stipends in the future.
Right. I think, Dr. Rivera, you mentioned that at the last time, correct? I guess Dr. Rivera's frozen. Okay, continue, Andres.
Yes. This budget does not include a budget for COVID-19 related costs for the 2021 year. We'll be finalizing that amount, and that amount will have to be obtained from the district's unassigned fund balance. And that we'll do that in September or October. Bring it back to the board.
Okay. Any questions, Coach Cuellar or Mr. Kennedy?
Not right now.
Okay.
No questions for me.
All right. Continue, Andres.
Okay. Compensation. The current budget figure do not reflect any pay raises on the compensation. Well, it should not say or compensation. It does not reflect any pay raises included as compensation for the district.
Okay.
We are recommending approval of 2 one-time stipends for 2021 in lieu of pay raises. One will be a one-time stipend to be paid in December. And the next page shows the amounts. This stipend will be eligible for TRS. And the next stipends will be based on a contingent on us, the district increasing the ADA for the year. The ADA that we generate will help us generate the funds to pay the stipend. And unfortunately, that has to be paid till May or December because we'll need to wait for the whole six weeks to understand whether we have enough ADA revenue in excess of what we budgeted to be able to pay additional stipend. And that stipend will not be, we haven't received still, we checked again today, we haven't received an answer from TRS, but we do not believe it will be eligible for TRS purposes. TEA is allowing us the first 6 weeks with the whole harmless, that if our ADA is lower than last year, they will give us the ADA count that we had last year for the first 6 weeks. But after the second 6 weeks, we're on our own. So, any questions on that?
So the first, they're going to give us, you said that the first 2
6
and comparable to last year.
Yes, if we have higher, we'll get the higher. But if
Correct.
lower than last year, they'll give us last year's numbers.
Okay.
While we get
And I think was
the year
The
going.
better one, they will give it to us. The higher one, they will give it to us.
and last year, normally the first 6 weeks are probably our highest normally during the school year. So, okay.
I'll move on to the next page then.
Okay.
What we are proposing to pay in December will be a small stipend for teachers, $400, nurses, counselors, librarians, trainers, instructional coaches, $325, paraprofessional, manual trade staff, $250. That includes instructional aides, and administrators, $325. Including benefits, that adds up to $820,000. And the reason we're doing this when we were working on the budget, we figured out we were not using the early education allotment funds correctly. We were charging some teachers to local funds instead of sharing half with a grant. By making the adjustments with the teachers and teacher aides, we were able to generate about close to $900,000. So we were able to, we can pay this stipend out of that adjustment we're going to make on the payroll for next year. Any questions on that?
Mr. Kennedy, any questions?
No questions for me. That's a good idea.
Coach Cuellar? Yeah, Coach Cuellar?
I'm just, I mean,
Yes,
we're
sir.
trying to do what we can with what we have, and the intentions are good intentions. So, yeah.
And this one's, Mr. Sanchez, this was just for December, correct?
Yeah, this is going to be paid in December. Yes, sir. And there's the other stipend that will be in the next page.
Okay, I think Mr. Lopez joined the meeting, if I'm not mistaken. Mr. Lopez, any comments?
Yes, I'm here. Andres, I just joined the meeting and I didn't catch all the details you stipulated on this. What I do want to know is that we had stipends last year. And you had so many ifs and buts about it that I don't think anybody got the stipend.
Right.
What are you going to attach for this one? Or is this, because if this stipend is to be paid out, it has to be paid out. It's not going to be, well, no, they didn't meet this or they didn't meet that, or that group did it, this group didn't, and what's going to happen this fiasco?
Yeah, that was 2 years ago, sir, when we had that. This amount that I'm presenting right now will be paid in December, not contingent on anything.
There's not going to be any.
Not for December. Not for the December. It out. There was some changes we made for one of the budgets where we have these funds to pay for that in December. It's the one at the end of the year, because there's another one at the end of the year that will be contingent upon ADA district-wide. Correct, Mr. Sanchez?
Yes, ma'am. That's correct.
Right now, we need to do everything that we can to help our employees. If you all have noticed, even the U.S. government is going out on a limb and sending monies out to people and releasing money that we don't have. I'm not saying that we need to go that far, but we do need to do as much as we can for our employees. Not only will it help them, but it will help the economy as a whole. So Andres and Dr. Canales, I'm going to tell you that we need to do as much as we can for our employees and help them out at this time. It's very hard to. I know people might think that teaching from home is easy, or while they got it made, but that's a hard chore to handle. There was a TV report sometime that food costs are going out the roof. There's more electrical due to the fact that now the house is occupied full time. There's everything is more expensive. So we need to help our employees as much as we can.
We understand, sir. Any other questions?
Those are some good points from Mr. Lopez. I concur there with Mr. Lopez. Continue.
Okay. This other stipend that I have here, this stipend will be contingent on increased ADA. 2 years ago, Mr. Lopez, we had to increase the ADA to be able to pay the stipends, and that was the main thing. If we don't get the ADA, we cannot pay them, and that was explained. I thought we have explained well during the presentation, and then when we were making that comment, the board said, "Well, since the schools are the ones generating the ADA, why don't the schools get an extra amount?" That's when we came up with the extra requirements that we said, okay, we get the ADA, there'll be money to pay it. We're going to make so much. But the schools, if they increase also the enrollment and the attendance, a certain percentage, they're eligible to receive an extra amount on a per school basis. And some schools did it. I'm aware about 8 schools did meet the enrollment increase in the ADA. However, the ADA to generate the funds was not there. That's why we couldn't pay it. So this one will be just ADA. We get the ADA, everybody gets it. No extra anything. So there's no money.
So it's gonna have to be everybody has to get it to where a few get it, or is that what you're saying again?
Yeah, let me go through the first example. On the third column, we're saying if we have the breakdown of the employees, the count, and the amount. This is 820,000, and it's the same amount as the one that we're paying in December. To get this amount, we will have to generate an additional 200 ADA. We have budgeted 15,199. If we get 200 more ADA, we'll pay this amount. If the ADA is actually 250 more than instead of 200 is 250 more, we can actually pay 600 instead of 400 for the teachers. Not both, just one. And if you go to 300, the stipend can be 800, and if it's 350, it can be 1,000. It will be only one of them, the highest one that we can reach. I don't want to make it too high that if we don't get it, we don't get anything. So we can.
Have you gotten any input from the principals, the teachers, counselors, and all your staff, or is it just something that you've put together?
I came up with it and I shared it with the cabinet.
Okay, so it has not gone up. Is this the first time the principals get to see it?
Yes, I did not discuss it with the principal. I told him we were working on it, but I did not mention specifics on the amounts.
Okay. Well, I'd like to get some input, Dr. Canales, from our principals and some teachers as to this plan. I know that this is, Andres, I feel it's a good plan, but yet I'd like to get some input from our administrators and some teachers. I believe you have an advisory board, Dr. Canales, that can give you some input on that.
Yes, we do have some teachers of the year, and we have our district advisory committee, and we also have regular principals meetings.
Okay.
All right. At what point do you get the ADA count? Because it's never final. You know, students come and go, but at what point do you determine what that number is going to be?
At the end of the school year, unfortunately.
At the end of the school year.
Yes, sir.
Are you going to do this before students leave for whatever purpose, if they do?
Say that again? If teachers leave or students
Not
leave?
teachers, students. You know, some students will leave a little bit before the end of the school year.
Oh, the ADA will be affected by it. So we have the final number that we have. That's usually when they leave early, the 5th and 6th weeks get lower. That's part of the normal procedure on schools. Because, for example, migrant students, they leave early when they migrate. Not everybody migrates as many students anymore. But if they leave, the ADA will be reduced, and that's already incorporated in the final number that we get for the year.
Yeah. Well, the reason I asked you this because right now a lot of people are doing a lot of work to get you know, our students enrolled, and I believe it's really making a difference, and we're gonna get a good start. I'm hoping, and then, you know, as the year goes on, given what this virus does, we'll have students coming and going. You know, if we go to face-to-face. I know there's a lot to look at. So, you know, we want to look at what's realistic, because we don't want to give anybody any false hopes of what might and could be. You know, we need to shoot straight. Because
Right.
Mr. Lopez brought up a very good point that a lot of people were very, very disheartened with, because they thought they did what they had to do and then nothing.
Right.
So whatever we bring to the table has got to be something that's going to be consistent, and you know, this is the way it's going to be. No
Yes, sir.
ifs or buts.
And Andres, you mentioned that this stipend will probably be paid in June.
Yes, probably June, to make sure that we have the end of the year, because if we extended the school year by one week, moved it 1 week to the end, it's
Right.
going to be to the end of May. So it will
Okay.
be paid in June.
Okay.
And just
Dr.
for
Canales?
clarification, I mean, there's one thing, enrollment, getting the numbers, making sure that our children are enrolled. Then from the enrollment, the next step is a membership. There are some students who are enrolled who generate half-day funding, like our pre-K. We have a full-day pre-K program, but for every 2 children, it counts as 1 child in terms of ADA. It's half-day funding. And then we have other students who we help that we recover, who might not meet the membership. Maybe they come in to take the STAR exam, because that's all they need to be able to graduate, who won't make the membership. So it's enrollment, membership, and then the third most very, very important piece is average daily attendance. The percentage of children attending school every single day. And we have a new way of accounting for attendance this year because of the remote learning experiences. So when we bring you the plan next week on the 24th for asynchronous, that plan allows us to, if a student is not, that plan allows us to accrue attendance in a different way that we can explain at a later time. So it's the attendance is important. We can have 8,000 students, but if only 15,000 come, if that's our ADA, average daily attendance, we only generate, the funds for 15,000 students. So, that's an important piece because we know we have people who work really, really hard. And right now, everybody's trying to get children enrolled. We also need to be communicating the importance of not only enrolling, but attending daily. So I think those are some important points.
What is our, how many students do we have enrolled right now?
We cleaned the data, and this morning was about 15,640. I don't have the report in front of me. I could pull it up. Carlos Martinez, was that correct?
15,406.
15 what?
Yeah, it's about 15,000. 15,406 as of this morning.
Okay, 15,406.
Is there any way that we can make the computers just turn on at 8 o'clock in the morning and wake everybody up in the house and get them working, get our kids up? I'm sure there is.
Like a bell, the computer sounds a bell. Time for school.
Yeah.
School is school.
Get Siri to come on. Hey, it's time to get up.
Actually, Mo, you can do it like in the old days, the siren at the city hall, or, we need to have those students logged on in the morning so that way it just makes it easier for final ADA.
I think we can get our computers to click on to just weird, like you said, just a siren of some sort, and get them. Oh, it's time to get up. I think that would be beneficial. Something to check into, Doc.
Okay, Mr. Lopez.
Any other comments?
No, Mr. Kennedy, any more comments there?
None for me.
Okay. Anything
Okay,
else,
I'll move on.
Andres? Okay.
Yes. The next page shows on the top section is the 2021 proposed budget. The left column is the revenues, estimated to be almost 176 million.
Correct.
The bottom section has last year adopted budget, and you can see that it was almost 184 million budgeted revenues, and the same thing for expenditure because it was balanced budget, and it's balanced budget now. So the difference is almost 8 million lower. Like I mentioned at the beginning, that it was because of the pandemic. We did not have all the expenditure, the ADA lower, so it's about $8 million less than last year.
Okay.
On the CARES Act,
Andres,
those grants that we have.
Andres,
Yes.
before we move forward, did you not
Sure.
state in a previous workshop or somewhere that you had made some of that money up by some method or other?
Tell me
I believe you said that
I have done what?
that you had made some of that $8 million up. That we were losing 8, but then apparently that you had made 4 million up on something. Come on, come clean.
No. That was the deficit.
Right.
Before, it was more expenditure than this, like more payroll, and it was less revenues. Well, less revenues, more expenditures. That's how we increase the tax revenues. We lower the expenditures. The initial I had shown 8 million, and then we had the incorrect tax rate. Then we got to TA when they approved it, so the tax rate changed and it went down. So we had to make adjustments and the property values. When we got the values on July 25th, so the next presentation that I made on August 10th last week, I had different information. But initially, we were looking at different tax rates and different amount. That's why it was a big difference. We made it up to balance it, not that we had anything else different.
Okay, well, Dr. Rivera's right there, and he's listening to everything, so don't think you're going to get away easy, all right?
I understand.
All right.
So this prior calendar year, we did end with a balanced budget. Is that right?
Yes, we presented a balanced budget for the current year. We're working on the books for the next 2 weeks. At the next meeting, we'll be presenting a final amendment for the 1920 budget.
But we're looking good, or we think we're going to be in a deficit?
We should be good. We should be good. And now we
Great.
make the increases that I mentioned. Remember the distance learning? We spent $1 million that was not in the budget before.
Yeah.
We're gonna split that for reimbursement, but for right now, we spent it. So we're working on that this week, and we'll present it to the board. I don't want to tell you how off we are or how good we are, because I'm gonna give you the wrong numbers.
You got it. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Okay. On the item number 1, the ESSER grant application. This is the one that TA had told us that we were entitled to $6.67 million of funds. Like I mentioned to the board that instead of getting additional funds from federal funds, we're not going to get anything extra. TA is going to substitute our foundation revenues for the grant. So, but we still have to apply for the grant, even though we're not going to get any extra funds. So one of the things we're going to do, we're entitled to 95% of that amount. So we're going to use the whole amount to reimburse the local maintenance fund for payroll of teachers that we have. In April and May, which is part of the pandemic days and when we started, we'll take payroll from that and charge it to the grant instead of we're going to move from the local funds. That's an adjustment we're going to make, and that's what the federal grants application is going to reflect, that we're going to file by Friday, no later than Monday, because it's due Monday. TA. We'll try to do it Friday, but wanted to let you know that we're going to use it for payroll, not anything else.
Yeah, I read in the paper that Governor Abbott wants to, he's seeking to have the RGB declare a disaster zone. Will that free up any funds for school districts that you're aware of?
No, I haven't found out of any other additional funds. Usually when there's funds like that, they go to FEMA. Assistance from FEMA.
Okay, thanks. Andres,
Yes, sir.
I think I missed this number 1 and number 2, your grants and the relief fund. How much money would we get out of that?
Nothing. The first one, we're not getting anything. We were entitled to 6.67, like I said, because Texas oil prices went down and the sales taxes, because we were closed, went down. They're using these funds from this grant to all school districts to balance the Texas budget. So school districts are not getting any additional funds. But we had to submit an application for it, because if we don't submit the application, they're going to cut our revenues and we're not going to get the benefit of anything. So we need to apply, and we're going to say that we're going to use the entire grant amount to reimburse us for payroll that we pay from local funds.
Well, I really don't understand. We're going to apply for something, we're not going to get anything.
Yeah, that's what they told us. Make sure that you
Well,
apply.
it makes it look very, very, very odd that, to me, I mean, if I read this, they're getting a grant, that means we're getting something.
No,
I mean, we're getting relief fund, we're getting something. But you say we're not getting anything.
We're not getting anything from the ESSER grant. And
put that on the paper, because
all districts are on the ESSER grant is for school districts. All districts are on the same boat all the way across Texas. Everybody.
I know, but the public does not know, and people reading this and seeing this will not understand it. They're getting a grant. I mean, what are they worried about? So we need to make sure that it's clear and that you put it on the paper as a number 3 or something like that, or right on top. No funds will be received. No extra funds. That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
I had mentioned it before to the public, but we can do that next week. We'll make sure we emphasize that part.
Yeah,
Well, if you put it on the paper, put it in writing so that people can read it.
Yeah, we can probably put a little bullet to clarify what that means, because it could be misleading. Because we were all excited when we heard, oh, right, we're going to have an extra 6.7 million. Then all of a sudden it's like, no, that's just going to compensate for what we're not going to get from the state because of the situation that Andres was describing. So
I hate
we
to say it, so it kind of doesn't make any sense, but okay. But yeah, we need to make sure that we clear it up for the public, for our public.
Okay. Yes, sir. And the second one, the Coronavirus Relief Fund, the CRF, this is the one that it's got a limited amount of days from the beginning of March to the end of May for any funds expended for distance learning or extra cleaning because of coronavirus. Items like that, the districts can apply for reimbursement. In that case, we're only going to apply for cleaning part, because we did not buy anything for distance learning. We didn't do any Chromebooks or hotspot, anything on those days. So we're working on a report for that. That will be the application for that one is in September. It will be submitting an application for that, and we'll be entitled to receive 75% of whatever items we submit for as part of the grant.
And do we have enough Chromebooks and everything to continue? I know that those items have wear and tear, and I know that you didn't buy all new ones for this go around. So maybe we should buy, if they're going to pay back, give us back 75% of them, maybe we should buy 200-300 Chromebooks to supplement whatever, unless you have some reserves. Is there reserves available of Chromebooks right now?
No, we have enough Chromebooks for one-to-one for all students that we have right now in the district, and that's what we're using. And yes, Carlos Martinez was working on like replacing everything every 3 to 5 years, Chromebooks, laptops. And for the 1920 year at the beginning, we took some money from fund balance that we used for that. We spent $1 million on it. And then we did the item that we did this summer, another $1 million on the different items. But right now, what I was mentioning on this coronavirus relief fund grant was only for March through May. So we buy something right now, we might not get reimbursement, or how much, I don't know. On the item that we bought already, we're going to get a half, and it's subject to the funds available after the big purchase the state did. Those items, the big purchase that the state did, a lot of those items were delayed, so we did not participate on that purchase because some of them were coming till October, November, and we wanted to be ready to start the year. And Chromebook, we had enough, so we did not order any.
Correct.
I understand.
Dr. Canales, question: did we order laptops for teachers? Since some of them had outdated laptops that didn't have a camera. Did we order updated for teachers that needed those for this year?
We did order some for a pilot. Carlos Martinez, I noticed that you took off. Do you want to share? The mute. Yeah.
We did order 350 on one batch and 150 on another batch. So totally 500 teacher laptops.
All right, thanks.
Along the lines of the Chromebook, do we have a surplus in case something goes wrong with the ones that are out that are being used? Because I don't know how what kind of issues might come up. But if something comes up and something goes wrong with someone's Chromebook, can they be replaced? And are we okay with that?
Yes, we have extra Chromebooks, so they just have to come back to the campus. We'll swap it out.
Okay, good.
Continue, Andres or Dr. Canales?
Yeah, the last line is a timeline. The last two items pending is August 24th, next Monday at 5:30, the public hearing, which has been advertised in the Monitor last Friday. So the public hearing on the proposed budget and tax rate. And then afterwards, the special board meeting to approve the budget, the tax rate, and other items that we have for board consideration and approval.
Okay.
And one more thing that I have, I'm going to stop presenting here. On this one, I have another file. We did what am I here? You see me? I have a survey on a pay raises that we did. We invited 10 other school districts, and we have asking for information on last year, this year, and we have information to present. So let me do that again. Carlos. How do I get the other file here?
Okay,
So-
open up your Google file and then
Yeah,
go to the right
I have it open.
and present
Go to present now.
now.
But so I have to go back to here to present now. I don't have it in my options on my window that I have here.
Do you want to send it to me, Mr. Sanchez,
let
and I
me-
can play it?
Let me see. Okay.
Oh, you do it. You're doing it.
Okay. Can you see it, the screen? Can you see it?
Yes, Andres.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, the first section here, we had asked districts sending this information. We wanted to know on teachers what they had paid pay raises that they did last year, and whether they did a pay raise or a one-time stipend, and then we asked for this year whether they were approved something already, were recommending something. So in the first section, and I hope this is the first item that I have here is the district, which I have already mentioned. So I'm gonna move to La Jolla. All right. Okay. You see the information on La Jolla? Dr. Canales?
Yes, we see it, Andres.
Okay, so on La Jolla for pay raises, last year they approved, we gave them the teachers, the years of experience, like last year, 1 to 6 years, 7 to 12, 13 to 18, and 19 or more. And they show the amount here that they paid, 3250, 3650, 4050, and 4450 for last year. For the current year, all they approved was $1,100. Again, because of the situation, economic conditions, pandemic, and everything else. For counselors, they recommended a 1.5% increase on the midpoint. For the nurses and librarians, also 1,100. For administrators, 1.5% for midpoint. For teacher aides, clerical, paraprofessional staff, and auxiliary staff, manual trades, those are 2.5% from midpoint. That is what they recommended in La Jolla.
Okay.
For the current year. And Donna, last year they approved teachers 4,000, 4,500, 4,500, 4,500. For the current year, they approved 2,000 across the board for all the teachers. Yeah, nurses and librarians, we have 4,000. I don't think that's correct. I believe that is 2,000, not 4,000. I apologize for that.
Okay.
For counselors and administrators, they are approved 3% from midpoint. For teacher aides and paraprofessionals, 5%. And for auxiliary staff, manual trades, technical trades, 7% from midpoint. McAllen, this year they did not approve a pay raise, but they approved a $300 stipend, one-time stipend to be paid in December for everybody. Everybody's getting the same amount, $300. That's all they approved. And again, based on the current conditions with the budget, funding, the unknown, on the situation that we have, that is all they approved.
Okay.
Mission. Last year they were at 3,500 for the first 6 years, and every other year, all the years of experience was 4,000. The current year, for next year, 1 to 6 years was 1,470. The next level 1,750. 13 to 18 years, 2,350, and 19 or more years of experience, 2,470. For counselors and administrators, 2.5%. Instructional support and paraprofessional staff, also 2.5%. And manual trades, technical trades, 4% from midpoint. The nurses and librarians should be the same amount as the teachers based on the number of years. Arlington, last year they paid $3,000 for teachers on the first 6 years with 6 years of experience. Everybody else, they pay $4,000. For this year, and the same for counselors, nurses, and librarians last year. For this year, they're paying $1,000 to all teachers. For nurses and no, sorry. Let me go to the bottom. Everybody else is going to go through a stipend. Counselors, nurses, and administrators is 1.75% for midpoint. And paraprofessional staff, instructional aides, and manual trades, 2% for midpoint.
Correct.
Maryland, last year, first 6 years of experience was $3,000 for the teacher pay raise. Everybody else was $3,500. Same for nurses, counselors, and librarians. And for administrators, instructional aides, everybody else is 3% for administrators. Everybody else, paraprofessionals, instructional aides, and manual trades, 6%. For the current year, none. They did not approve anything. Pay raises, all stipends, because let's say the economic conditions, the unknowns, they were not approving anything. TJ, last year they recommended for teachers for the first 6 years, 3,000. The next 6 years, 3,500. 13 to 18, 4,250. 19 years or more, 5,000. This year, for 2021, for the new year, it's $1,150 for all teachers. Same applies to nurses and librarians. And for next year as well, counselors and administrators and manual trades, instructional aides, and paraprofessionals would get 2% for midpoint. ISD, last year, they gave us information on 2,000 for the beginning. I think we have those in the wrong place, unless they give it to us like that. 2,000 for the first 6 years, 2,500 for everybody else. For the current year, it's $1,200 for all teachers, regardless of the number of years of experience. Counselors and nurses and librarians, $1,200 as well. Administrators, no increase. Instructional aides, manual trades, and paraprofessionals, 2% from midpoint. And the last one is the survey, Los Fresnos. Last year, they gave them teachers with first 6 years of experience, 2,000, 7 to 12, 2,500, 13 to 18, 3,000, 19 or more years, 4,000. This year, nothing. And nurses and counselors and librarians got the same as the teachers based on the number of years of experience. Last year, everybody else got 3%. Administrators, instructional aides, paraprofessionals, and manual trades. This year, they didn't recommend anything either because of the uncertainty of the economy. There's nothing there. And those are the issues that we have. Oh, no. I have one more. Oh, that's it. Dan already mentioned it. We don't have any. Those are the issues that we have. Any questions?
Andres, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Mándeme.
But last year, that was a state raise. It was not a local raise. There was a formula for that. The key where you can compare is this school year. And if I understand what you have done is the pay increase will be exactly what they made last year. The only additional, there will be a stipend in December and in May. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So there's no pay increase in the August, September checks, right? They're making whatever they made last year.
Yes. No pay raise. December will be.
Yeah. No pay raise at all.
Correct.
But the only pay raise will be what the formula you use on the ADA, the enrollment, on all of that. There'll either be one stipend in December, and then you'll calculate how much. You got to figure right now, but it might be more or it might be less. And then there's going to be a June stipend also, depending on enrollment ADA. Am I correct on that?
Yes, sir. The one in June is depending on ADA.
Right.
The one in December. No, the one in December is for sure.
Right. But right now, just so everyone will know what you've done on your budget, everyone can expect the same paycheck as they made last year when they left in May. They're getting the same amount. There's no increase at all. That's what you've done on your budget. But the increase might be the stipend might be, depending on, again, repeating myself, will be in December based on the enrollment, based on the ADA. So what you have there, it could be more than that. If you have a good enrollment, good ADA. Am I correct? Just making it simple.
No, but the one in December is set. It is that amount. It's not
Yes,
subject
it's
to anything.
right.
That one is
It's
not gonna change.
It's said, but it might be more. That's what I'm
No.
trying to tell you. It might be more. Yes, it might be more, depending on, let's say you get a good enrollment, you get all the kids coming in, you got all the money in there. We mentioned this, there was a surplus in the budget. So for you to say that in December it's already set, but it could be, the board can change it and make it higher if the board wants to, and if the money is there. Am I correct?
That could be something like, you could say it like that, except that the ADA, we will not know until the end of May. So how can we put it in December if we don't have it? It will be good that if we have it, but we won't know because now we have to use all six weeks for instruction. Before it used to be 4. So by December, we already had 6 weeks. We had a pretty good idea. Now we have to wait till the end of the year. We wouldn't be able to change it as a stipend in December. The one later on is the one that could change. What I have 4 options on the other one, that if the ADA goes another 50 goes up. And I could add a couple more later that it goes up, but another 50 more, get another 2 more hundred or whatever for everybody to increase it. But the one in December, unfortunately, for what we have, that is set right now. Unless we come up with something else that we find an adjustment somewhere here and there, we could increase it, but it will be increased now. It will be approved as set. That one will not be subject to change because we wouldn't know what to change it with. We'll have to come up with the numbers between now and Friday to come up with the numbers we need, and then we will present it to the board like that. But the ADA will be till later.
Yeah, the December stipend is already set, and the spring is depending on ADA all the way till the end, depending on how the ADA is how much money the staff will get in June.
Yes.
Correct.
And right now, on the one that I have for December, even if we change it to a higher amount, right now, it will present an amount set, and the budget is not going to reflect it because it's in the budget but in a different account. So we will come back to the board in September to present the budget amendment, or September, October, to change it to the correct account. Because if we were to make changes right now, we will have all the state funds and the federal funds change all the budget to increase payroll, reduce the other items, and it will create a big mess, for lack of a better word, to have the budget ready for Monday.
Okay. And if we can, like Dr. Rivera mentioned, if we can increase it in December, and we have to board approve later on in September, October, we could improve that stipend if we have the budget or the money's available at that time.
Yes, and that one, yes, if we approve in September, December, and October, but that one will be subject to us doing something extra for it. Like
Okay.
in the start development to get the extra pay. You have to be the only person approving September.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions there, Mr. Lopez?
I have one comment only.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Sanchez,
Monday.
right now we're going through something that is very scary and I guess unpredictable. The waters are very troubled. And I know that your job is to take care of our money and make sure that we don't get ourselves in trouble. So I know that you're under a lot of pressure, and we're going to push you hard and squeeze you hard to help our employees. So
you always do.
I mean, this is a time when you as you have to shine, and you have to. I mean, I know it's hard on you right now. So you and your staff are doing a good job. Keep it up, but we're going to keep on squeezing and pushing you. So toughen up a little bit, okay?
Yeah. Dr. Gonzalez, that's pretty good without any help. So she already told me today. So I'm looking at some ideas based on what we discussed today to see if we can increase that part. Like I said, if we can do it, we can do that, and we'll present it on Monday. And again, that will be a set amount. Anything else will be subject to what we have on the stipend, so the stipend.
And you know, Andres, let me just tell you this, that I know that our teachers, some of them will be working, or most of them will be working from home. That's harder. That's harder. You know, it's you know, anytime you get out of a routine that you go into your class and you have your students and everything's set the way you've done it day in, day out for years. Now you're changing it completely, not by your choice, but by the conditions of the entire world. Then it really throws a wrench in the system, and it takes more from a person to get things done. I mean, it's just a lot more work. I can imagine what our teachers are going through, and with all our staff in getting ready, getting prepared. I mean, it's just the unknown, Andres, and the unknown. So we need to do as much as we can for our staff, because I know that they're throwing everything they have into educating our kids. So everything. And don't, at the end, my point was this: I don't want to hear you at the end of the year say, we found a surplus of $5 million. Because you always do that.
Mr. Kennedy, any final comments, Mr. Kennedy?
No, this is a good update. I appreciate you letting us know the comparative effects of the payroll increases across the valley. One thing though, I mean, if there's a public watching, I know there's probably teachers watching. One thing that didn't include is whether or not those districts are going to run balanced budgets this coming year. District can give the biggest payrolls that they want if they're choosing to run in the red, and Weslaco is choosing not to in-debt our future citizens by running a balanced budget this year. Just something to keep in mind.
Okay, Coach Cuellar?
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy.
No.
No final comments?
You've done a good job to give us a good idea of where we're at and where we're going, and what we're doing now to enroll our students. Don't stop. You're doing a great job. Let's keep working. But you know, go after it like there's no tomorrow.
Dr. Canales, any final comments?
No, just thank you, Board of Trustees. We did take notes, and we will meet again a week from today for a workshop, followed by the special called board meeting to approve the budget for next school year. I know Mr. Sanchez and his staff have reached out to countless people to try to figure this out. You know, we're just at that time where it's difficult to project a budget with so many unknowns, but they're doing their best, and we're listening, and we want to do the best for our students and our staff across the district. So thank you.
All right. This concludes our special board workshop. It is 6:30, adjournment.
I move.
All right. Y'all have a good night. And thank you for thank you, Andres.
Everyone, stay safe.
Okay. Bye-bye.